Now let's talk about water, because the ranking member of Parliament Select Committee on Water, Works and Housing, Joe Appiah, is worried. Now he is asking or wants sanctions against authorities in charge of the Nsuom water treatment plant. Now according to him, some monies approved for the construction of some water treatment plant in that area has not been fully utilized. Now let's listen to him as he visited the area with some other members of the committee.
The Nsawam water crisis continues to attract attention due to its severity. For more than 1 month, residents of Nsawam and its environs have continued to face acute water shortage. This has resulted in no other option but for the people to resort to untreated water. On a visit by the Parliamentary Select Committee for Water Resources, Works and Housing, some work seemed to be ongoing. The parliamentarians were not comfortable with the state of the off-river reservoir.
Set up a time frame to complete the dredging.
When are they going to finish with the dredging?
We'll keep doing till
I think
maybe
I think we are bringing additional
equipment to support this.
When are you going to finish?
You know,
because if you don't have any time,
honorable, hold on. You see, all this area is silted. We wish we could import a bigger, dredge a bigger area. So now, since there are no rains and this place is dry, we are taking advantage to clear. So we'll keep clearing. There is a plan, but we'll keep clearing.
The principal basin officer at the Water Resources Commission, Ronald Abrahams, suggested the pumping of water from Weja and other sources to the reservoir.
We have recommended sub-basin water transfer from Weja to here.
Right.
We have also recommended from the Volta to these areas.
The ranking member for the Select Committee, an MP for Ablekuma North, Joe Appiah, thinks action must be taken.
If 11 million euro has been approved, they are telling me this kind of thing. You can just see it for yourself. This kind of thing, as a ranking member for Works and Housing Committee, we are going to take this matter up and make sure the right thing is done. Hence, we have to roll.
The chairman for the committee, Tete Sumin, described the situation as unfortunate.
What we have seen here is quite unfortunate, but we know that natural disaster seems to have taken large portion of the blame.
The member of parliament for Nsawam Ejiri, Ano Dompre, could not understand how the fund was used for the project.
I'm told, reliably informed, and the minister has even confirmed that the Belgian government has given this government 11 million euro. What did this administration do with the 11 million euro which was given to them by the Belgian government? Is this the work of the 11 million euro?
Right, and the Ghana Water Company is expected to meet Parliament's Committee on Works and Housing to deal with that. We'll stay on that story, that developing story, and we'll bring you more. Let's link it to the issue of Galamsey and the destruction of water bodies. Now, if you go across the country, from the northern part of the country to the western region, to the central region, and to the eastern region, it is everywhere. Illegal mining has virtually destroyed every water body in this country. But one person is raising the red flag. He's talking about it because he thinks it is destroying what we can rely on for supply of potable water. My guest tonight is a member of parliament for the Efutu constituency, Honorable Alexander Kwamina Afinyomake. Welcome.
Thank you, my brother.
So, Galamsey is the problem. Is that the problem?
Well, obviously, we know that for over 15 years, Galamsey operations have more or less taken over activities in and around our water bodies. Chiefs have spoken about it.
Right.
Government has taken ad hoc measures in stopping it. It has not gotten anywhere. People have sold their cocoa farms to Galamsey operators. We know cocoa harvest has reduced for the past 3 years. We know also that Birim is polluted, Pra, Densu, and Ayensu, which serves Winneba and its catchment areas. Now all these water bodies are drying up.
Even Winneba?
Of course. I mean, we are in a crisis situation.
Galamsey activities?
No, not the Galamsey. We receive water upstream.
Okay.
And if the Ayensu is not receiving, then they are unable to pump the water. As we speak, Winneba has a population of almost 120,000. And for the past 3 weeks, we have no water. The reason being that Ayensu has dried up. And according to Ghana Water Company, they have a critical point, which is 2 meters, at which they actually produce water.
Can collect water and use it for production.
Now they are even going below the 2 meters to 1.6, 1.8, 1.9. And they ration the supply. They put on their machines 2 hours. They have to shut it and then come back again after they've accumulated. So the point is that we should not continue to pamper Galamsey operations in this. I mean, those engaged in the Galamsey operations. We cannot continue to pamper them. If in the past, government was not bold enough, I think the time is now, because we've gotten to a crisis point. Perhaps we took it for granted. 5 years from today, I cannot see how we can get water. And you see, apart from the fact that the effect of their activities affect the supply of potable water, our farmers also suffer. If they fell trees, the meteorologists are telling us that we shouldn't expect, we should expect low rainfall this year. All these affect the national economy. And I'm saying that it's not a matter of somebody criticizing government for inaction, therefore government seeing same as a partisan issue. It's a national issue. My being an MPP that shouldn't be the focus. My being a Ghanaian, and for that matter, bringing up this issue, which is facing all of us. My people in Winneba, we have in Sawum, people Katekrachi, Isache, they cannot pump water because water bodies are drying up. So I think that government would have to come up with an action plan, a policy that would be extra strict, aimed at ending Galamsey operations.
The laws we have now are not biting enough.
Well, the laws must be enforced. We have state agencies. Forestry Commission is there. The ministry itself is there.
The Water Resource Commission.
Water Resource Commission. We have the Ministry of Lands, Natural Resources. Also there. The Environmental Protection Agency is there. We have agencies that have the mandate. And of course, the security agencies would only be there to support them. I heard today somebody saying the minister has engaged national security to get into this Galamsey. Look, these are ad hoc measures. How are we going to ensure that state agencies function? And in fact, very critical of this is the need for all of us as a people to support the action by government in ending Galamsey operations. In the past, one would say that people are unemployed, and because of votes and all that, you take action the next day because a big man owns an equipment, or a big man is involved in the business in between. There's a stop to it. But for how long can we continue? Now all of us are suffering. Okay? People can't get water. You go to Winneba, you have students there, they need water. You have children, they need water to bath. We have teachers, they need to go to school. You have hospitals, they rely on water. And what happens to the over 20,000 population? And it's not only limited to my
The Lands and Natural Resource Minister, for instance, was saying that, well, these illegal miners are arrested, the equipment are seized by the courts, and then they are released for lack of evidence. And so perhaps it is one of the reasons why they are still operating.
No, Nana, the issue has to do with enforcement. And we have to be bold, we have to be swift, we have to be decisive. And I'm saying that until we do that, Galamsey operations will bring our economy to a halt.
Give me a minute. Let me speak to the man in charge of the basin. That's the principal basin officer at the Ghana Water Resources Commission, Mr. Ronald Abrahams. The Water Commission's mandate is to protect our water bodies. Mr. Abraham, grateful for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Now, the issue of the Pratt River is no news. The Brim is no news. Almost every water body in Ghana has one way or the other been touched by illegal miners. The mandate of the Water Resources Commission is to protect these water bodies. So in this situation, how would you say the commission has discharged its mandate?
Well, the commission has actually collaborated with the National Security Council to address the issue of galamsey countrywide. And over the last few years, we've been witnesses to a lot of efforts at controlling illegal mining activities all over the country. And we call it Operation Halt, which was actually instituted by the president. And currently there is a second phase, which is trying to address the issue region by region. I think the important issue is that we should desist from such practices, given the high cost and the labor-intensive nature of these things. At any rate, we cannot actually look at the current situation of water shortage as wholly coming from illegal mining activities. Some also allege that it's as a result of pollution. But if we take these wrongful human activities out, we'll still have water shortage because in a real practical sense, we have a long dry spell which does not support. You see, if it were just about pollution and the filtration of the water channels, we will have flooding or the prevalence of highly polluted water systems. But what we are talking about now is drought, which is a natural phenomenon, and let's hope that within the next few days, if we should come by some rains, the situation will change altogether.
But Mr. Abraham
say that we should avoid the control of illegal activities that tend to pollute and encroach upon our watershed.
Are you suggesting that illegal mining has no impact at all on the supply of water in the country? Is that what you're suggesting?
You know, currently what we have at Nsawam Edwejri and a few of the other places is due to the long, dry, severe weather conditions and not over pollution or encroachment of our watershed. It is not.
How would you, for instance, say that the destruction of the Brim River, the destruction of the...
what I'm trying to drum home is that we have not polluted or destroyed our watersheds into this kind of water shortages we are experiencing. It is largely due to lack of intermittent rainfall. This is what we have. Over the last 10 years, we have had favorable rainfall patterns. So that at the peak of the dry season, we still had our intermittent rains that actually ensure that we had water in our water bodies throughout the year. But this year is different, and we have seen it to be more severe than the other years. So I think we have to begin to engineer the environment so that areas that are water stressed will have what we call interbasin water transfers and sub-basin water transfers. Because we are looking at it, Weija has a lot of water now, and the Water Lake has also got a lot of water. It will be advisable to have interbasin water transfer, say from the water to the Nsawam area. Otherwise, we could also have water transfer from the Weija Lake that has a lot of water now to the less privileged places. we have to actually put in these measures, and then not to emphasize too much on the galamsey and the pollution and the degradation element.
But you
what we have to do is to engineer, or maybe look for groundwater sources to augment what is being produced by Ghana Water Company, Water Health, and the rest of the entities that are producing potable water for communities.
Before you go, you cannot, for instance, rule out the fact that you're talking about Weija, which has water now. The situation wasn't the same 5 years ago. Now, people farming on the banks of the Weija lake, construction around the lake, pollution of the lake, all these things resulting in the fact that the water in the lake is going down. So if it's just as simple as what you're saying, in the next 5 years, we might not see the same level of water in the Weija Lake due to these activities.
No, through the effort of the Water Resources Commission and the National Security Council, we have been able to establish a security post that is being manned by the military and the police. And a lot of discipline is prevailing as we speak.
Mr. Abraham, the people who hawk at the toll booths are still there. Mr. Abrahams, the people who hawk at the toll booth, they are still there. Yeah. They are dropping all kinds of receptacles into the lake. National security is there, but the hawkers are still at the toll booth.
Yes, we are addressing that.
I see.
Yes, we are addressing that. And within the next few weeks, we should see some drastic action being taken along the banks towards the toll booth area, and then illegal fishing activities, the quarrying, sand weeding. We have actually prioritized these things, and we are going to tackle them one after the other.
I'm grateful.
And make sure that at the end of the day we have a well-protected water catchment. I'm
grateful. Ronald Abrahams is the Principal Basin Officer, Water Resources Commission. They're talking to me. Let me come back to my studio guest, Mr. Afenyo Markin. So,
let me comment a bit on what
quickly
Mr. Abraham said. I think I disagree with his understanding of the issue.
Galamsey isn't the cause of what is
not fundamental to him.
Right.
It's not fundamental looking at the situation we find ourselves. But I don't think he's reconciled his views with what Ghana Water Company itself is saying.
Exactly.
Because I have listened to Ghana Water Company on various FM stations. I've read
the amount of their operation increasing because they are spending more to treat polluted water by illegal mines.
You see, most of our water bodies are silted because of galamsey operations. They degrade the environment, felling off trees for the purposes of their activities. They don't recover. Reforestation does not take place. If it doesn't take place, what do you expect? More rainfall? No. So fundamentally, there's a problem. And he didn't touch on Winneba. I had to, because I'm not an expert in that area. I took time to interview, ask them questions. What is responsible for this? No water coming upstream. So Ayensu is drying up. And it's not only Winneba. So if he says that there is national security and collaborative, please, let's hit it right on the head. There is a problem. Deal with galamsey. Their activities have a spiral effect. And one of such is the acute rainfall we are experiencing. So if you say that, well, what we're experiencing is drought, and it's not necessarily galamsey activities, and that it's not a pollution problem, then I'm afraid they would have to, this commission and Ghana Water Company would then have to reconcile and tell us why we're having problems, with water supply, because government has invested so much into expansion of water. At least on finance committee, I've seen loans coming for the purposes of expansion of potable water. So if all these investments are being made and the very water that we need to treat is not there, and we know that water bodies have been polluted, water cannot flow, we know that they are drying up, and you say it's something else, and that you are solving the problem and we can open Weija, I'm afraid the people of Winneba cannot wait 3 weeks. Over 120,000 people in Sawom. People need water. You go to Esachel, there's no water. The Gomoa area, the Winneba pumping station does not only serve the people of Winneba. We are just around 120,000. The Gomoa areas receive supply, and now they are depending on Kunyako. That place too is not sufficient. So the real challenge is there, and I'm saying that we need an enforcement.
Is the motion that you want to file in Parliament the kind of enforcement you're talking about?
Well, on two folds. One, we are looking at remedial measures by the minister in resolving the situation in Winneba. That is fundamental. Second, enforcement. That's what policy steps government is going to take in ensuring that all these activities that in effect is not only affecting water supply, but it's also a threat to food security. You know that. Right. Our farmers depend on water. If farmers cannot get water for their crops, irrigation will be affected. At the end of the day, prices of food will go up and all that. So I would want to get the platform open up for members of parliament, my colleagues, to embrace it, express their views, so that at the end of the day, the resolution would have the full force of the House to the extent that these activities are affecting us as a people. Government would know that, look, Parliament has resolved that government ought to take urgent steps in ending such, illegal activities that in effect affect water supply. Then at the end of the day, I believe that Ghanaians will know that, look, nobody can go look for cover. You can't be pampered any longer. This thing must end now. We cannot continue to entertain it.
And you think that we have what it takes to deal with these illegal miners?
We are parliamentarians.
They've always fought back.
Yes. Can they be
the country's security?
The government has the constitutional mandate. If government wants to go after you in terms of ensuring law enforcement, there's nothing you can do. Okay. So if Parliament as a body, as an arm of government, is there to support government, that the executive, we are empowering you with our advocacy that go and enforce. And the Ghanaian people know that, look, this is not a partisan matter, but a national call. I tell you, nobody will go for cover, because they know that they are coming after you. We've recently passed the law on
the mining,
small-scale mining,
right,
and all that. There are a lot of steps that when they seize,
equipment,
irrespective of ownership, it would have to, you have to forfeit it to the state. The state will auction it and all that. There are some other steps. Government must enforce it. And all that we need to do as Parliament is to tell the Ghanaian people that, look, we back the executive. We are together urging the executive to ensure that we save our nation. That is all.
Mr. Afenyo-Markin, I'm grateful for your time tonight.
Grateful to you too. The people of Winneba are grateful to you. And we expect the minister to be quick in solving our problem for us, because we need water.